is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the first book of Kings, chapter 11, verses 29 to 32, and chapter 12, verse 19. Jeroboam left Jerusalem, and the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite met him on the road. The two were alone in the area, and the prophet was wearing a new cloak. Ahijah took off his new cloak, tore it into 12 pieces, and said to Jeroboam, "Take 10 pieces for yourself. The Lord, the God of Israel, says, I will tear away the kingdom from Solomon's grasp, and will give you 10 of the tribes. 1 tribe shall remain to him for the sake of David my servant, and of Jerusalem, the city I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel." Israel went into rebellion against David's house to this day. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel of St. Mark, chapter 7, verses 31 to 37. Jesus left the district of Tyre and went by way of Sidon to the Sea of Galilee, into the district of the Decapolis. And people brought to him a deaf man who had a speech impediment, and begged him to lay his hand on him. He took him off by himself away from the crowd. He put his finger into the man's ears, and, spitting, touched his tongue. Then he looked up to heaven and groaned and said to him, "Ephphatha," that is, "be opened." And immediately the man's ears were opened, his speech impediment was removed, and he spoke plainly. He ordered them not to tell anyone. But the more he ordered them not to, the more they proclaimed it. They were exceedingly astonished, and they said, "He has done all things well. He makes the deaf hear and the mute speak." This is the gospel of the Lord.
My dear friends, in our continuation of our reflection in the year of prayer, today we turn to the prayer of Jesus. There's a small booklet prepared by the Holy See called Praying with the Prayer of Jesus. There are many instances in the Gospel, my dear friends, where Jesus prayed. He prayed before his public ministry for 40 days. He prayed in the river Jordan at his baptism. He prayed with his disciples in lonely places. He prayed the high priestly prayer of Jesus in John Gospel. He prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. He taught the Lord's Prayer, Our Father. And there are many instances of short captions of prayer. Even on the cross, he prayed to God. Therefore, my dear friends, we are called upon to use these phrases, passages, and prayers of Jesus for our own personal use of prayer. Today in the Gospel, Jesus uses one word in Hebrew called Ephphatha, and in English it is "be opened." That is the prayer Jesus prayed to God in order to give hearing to this man who was deaf. If Jesus used short captions, short phrases of prayer, my dear friends, we are also called upon to use similar prayers like Jesus prayed to God in our ordinary ways of life. Therefore, let us turn the passages of the Gospel and read through the prayers of Jesus and make them for our personal prayer. Use them for our personal prayer as the prayer of Jesus.